Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ginza. I'm here in the middle of the city because I think that when you get a chance to look and see what the city of Tokyo is like right now, it'll give you more information than me saying anything at all about what's going on for the last couple of weeks. I've been giving updates on this topic for a while. I think you all know what I'm talking about. And things have changed. Yesterday, there was a lot of big news on the media that reported the Tokyo Marathon was canceled, as well as the Emperor's birthday, which is on the 23rd of this month. It's a big collection of people that come into one area, and they wisely chose not to let that go ahead. The Tokyo Marathon was a big deal, though. They're still going to have it. The general marathon were the 30,000 people that had registered for it, 38,000, I believe. They cannot participate, but the professionals that are in this to try to win prize money, that'll still go on. So it's about 200 runners that'll be running. So it's completely changed, which is a huge shame, but that sent some shockwaves even to me, to know that the city was taking such measures, as well as asking people not to ride at commuter times, tried to avoid riding on trains and things like this. It makes you, when you hear these updates, it makes you worry a little bit that maybe they know something that we don't know. That's kind of the feeling right now. Japanese news is all over this. TBS Hirobi, which is a great show that I follow and trust for my news here, that's basically what they led with today, and that was most of everything. I think they're still talking about it right now on TV. So the data that I have here and some of the news, I'll give to you. I'm not going to reiterate the world news in this. I'm going to give you just simply the question: should you travel to Japan right now? And if you do, what to expect? And I've gotten hundreds of messages asking on Facebook, Twitter, all the social medias, YouTube as well, asking me the questions that I simply cannot answer. And this time I've written down notes because I cannot go off of script too much. You'll know that this is a live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in and subscribing, because I want to make sure that you feel comfortable coming to Japan. A lot of you have booked your trips well in advance. I'm talking like months and months in advance, and you've put a lot of money into it, invested in this, because this is something that you've always wanted to do, and now this hits, and I feel I completely empathize with your situation. You're just not getting enough specific news on what it's like right here. That's what these live streams, I think, can be really valuable for. So some of the questions that I've been receiving is, very specifically, I wrote them down here. Like, when will it be okay to travel? Are they canceling the Summer Olympics? What cities should I avoid? Where should I not go? Is it going to be okay on March 16th? I'm guessing this person wrote this because that was the date that they're arriving. The answer is that I just simply cannot answer. I cannot honestly answer your questions, because right now, although the media is reporting a lot of stuff, we simply just do not know. And this comes from the CDC and the World Health Organization directly, WHO. They simply don't know either. And it's just a case of this is still evolving, all right? It's still evolving. I will tell you the facts right now, and then I will tell you some things that I might have said in another one, but I want to show you while I do this, like, what is it like right now in Tokyo? What is it like? There's nobody panicking. And I think 2 weeks ago when I started this, I told you I'm not worried, but I'm concerned. And I think after the announcements and some of the things that I've seen in the media, I think I'm like, if concerned was on a scale of 1 to 10, and 1 was no worry and 10 was panic, I'd say concerned was like 2. And I'm like at maybe 3.5 right now. You can see still about half the people are wearing masks and half are not. So just to reiterate, the numbers that you're seeing on the news are not completely accurate, I would say, in the sense that, all right, there's over 500 cases, they say, in Japan confirmed. 59 are actually people here in Japan, like Japanese citizens or people that were diagnosed here in Japan. 454 are on this really tragic cruise ship and that's the fact. Okay, 59 and 554. That puts it like behind Singapore, I believe, and it's not. It's still really not good to see that number, but it's still, out of 130 million people, it's small. Now, I'm laughing because it's just, gosh, it's just a lot of unknowns right now. And I told you before, I said this, it takes about 14 days before you start to see trend lines. And I started this before I went to Hokkaido. And we're starting to see some of the trend lines. More and more are coming up sick. And I think it's still too early to tell. It's still not a significant amount of people, but it's worrying, but not panicking. This morning, Kanai went to Matsumoto Kyoshi, which is a drugstore chain here in Japan, and she was there before it opened, and there were already a line of people waiting to buy masks and alcohol. And she got in there and she asked the staff, do you have any masks? And they said, no, not today. Will you have them tomorrow? We don't think so. So there's a definite shortage of masks here in Japan. Now, we still have enough for the next few weeks. I think we're going to be okay. And it's debatable whether or not how much the masks help unless you are actually sick. But the fact is that if you're asking me point blank right now, and I'm going to go to some of your questions and show you a little bit around the area, because again, I think that the best thing that I can do is to show you this area, a central area of the city of Tokyo, and you yourself can get an image of what it's like right now, and then you can make your own determinations based on the information that you get from your sources. And if you're leaving anything in the chat, I highly recommend that you source if you're leaving any information or data, please source it. Please tell us where you got that from. Because the last thing we want to do is to make people feel even more uncomfortable on news from a source that is not vetted. Also, we have something called the Discord server. I promote this every now and then, but it's becoming a very useful tool for people who are thinking to travel to Japan and worried about different things. Not just this, but also thinking about where to go for the cherry blossoms if they bloom too early. That's another question. Or even, we'll probably have a group on the Summer Olympics as well. But we're starting one on this as well. And if you have concerns and want to keep in touch with other people that are in Japan, and about 5,000 people that know Japan and have been here many times, we have moderators that are vetting this stuff and making sure that it's not getting out of hand and the information is not political or anything like this. But we want you to feel free, there's a place where you could talk about it that's not like conspiracies, theories, and prophecies and things like this. I want to show you, my goal is what is going on right in here on the ground so that you can make a determination. How do I feel personally? As I said, I'm on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not concerned and 10 being panic. I'm at 3.5. I'm riding my bicycle more and more, and I'm trying to avoid public transportation. I'm washing my hands a lot and developing. There's the entrance for the new Ginza station. I'm trying to get into habits of washing my hands and not touching my face, and I'm doing a very good job of not touching my face at all. When something itches, I'll go and wash my hands anyways. We have alcohol. Now, according to reputable sources, and I'll put some links in the description, if you do use sanitizer and stuff, make sure it's at least minimum 60%. This comes from the CDC, 60% alcohol. Anything less than that, it really doesn't have an impact. This comes straight from that source. It's on the website. I'll put a link in the description of the things that you can do. Wash your hands for 20 seconds. Don't touch your face. Wearing a mask if you're healthy. Some governments are saying that you shouldn't do that. I'm saying that you should, because even though you don't show symptoms, you might be sick. And although the CDC says that this is not a way to spread this is not the main way, but it's still a possibility. So I still think that you should wear if you no matter what. And It also prevents you from touching your face as well. If you have that on there, you won't touch your face. I'm gonna take you now to Ginza Yonchome, which is the main intersection here. Peter sent me, my friend Peter, sent me a picture this morning of the new Otani Hotel. At 9 a.m. It was deserted. Not a soul inside of the hotel. Public gatherings, places, Kyoto, I've been told, the tourist attractions are, you can noticeably tell that it's not nearly as crowded as it typically was. So if you're thinking of coming to Japan, maybe that's gold for you. You don't have the same kinds of crowds. But if you were to ask me personally, would I want my grandmother or my mother or a loved one coming here at this time, I would say I wouldn't want them traveling anywhere, actually. I would prefer that people would just, that loved ones would not travel if they were over the age of, 60, I guess. This is just my feeling, okay? I want it to be very clear. Oh, that's interesting. The tiger is behind some construction. Let's rub it for luck. Now I gotta wash my hands. Yeah, so this is what it looks like here in Ginza. You can tell it's not a lot of people are panicking. Nobody's really that worried or concerned. And I think you can read people's faces a little bit, but I shouldn't say they're not concerned. Everybody is concerned in the country. But I think Japan is a pretty good place where people will think about the society first and be responsible when they see symptoms. And if you do, they've asked that you don't go into the clinics, but call a support line instead of going out and about, to call the support line, and then the support line, you'll be able to get help through that and then make a determination of what you should do next. So that sort of makes sense instead of rushing out into public. To do something like that is very responsible. And very quickly, the government of Tokyo is coming up with ways to deal with this. And I'm very happy with the response. Now, for those that are on the cruise ship, the Japanese news is so focused on this situation right now, and there's really not that much that they can do without worrying the public. It is as much political as it is an empathetic, like a situation of empathy where the entire public is like heartbroken with what's going on, and the amount of cases that are on there compared to the general public it's unbelievable. There's a traffic light. You can see people crossing. Most of them are wearing masks right now. Shortcut rights in here. This is for when you get thirsty. Thank you, man. I probably will stop off and get something, get some food here. I'm gonna make a run to Costco on Thursday to get some supplies. I don't know. It's not a good feeling, but nobody is panicking, and there's still just 59 people that are confirmed sick with this right here in Japan. If you discredit, if you just, that's not the right word, but if you don't talk about the cruise ship, just 59 right now, and that number seems relatively low when you think about 130 million people. But then again, if you can get sick when you're not showing symptoms, the scary thing with this is that we just do not know. All right, we do not know, and that's where it is right now. It's a mystery. We're gonna see a lot of data here. Kirigaro 59 isn't that much, absolutely. It's almost the same government approach here in Singapore. Does Costco membership from the US work in Japan? Yes, it does. It's worldwide. Not one person has mentioned it, but yeah. The vibe, so BK Helen writes in here, 7% alcohol with 5% chloral. Don't gather in a confined place. The higher the alcohol count, the better. But the CDC says 60%. Anything under 60% is not going to have as much of an impact. So I'm gonna walk around here and give you an idea of the neighborhood now. Actually, for a weekday, that's not a lot of people. That's pretty cool. What do they got going on there? That is not a lot of people inside of Mitsukoshi right now. It's pretty empty inside of the department store, and you can see people really are avoiding crowded places. You can just turn the corner here. Yeah, I want you to see what it's like right now in Japan, in Tokyo, and a place where is typically crowded. Ginza usually has a lot of tourists, mostly from Japan, from China, and I don't see any of those tour groups. Again, they've been suspended from coming to Japan for a couple of weeks now. Right now, a lot of people are wearing masks, not just for prevention, and I wanted to make this very clear. They're not sick if they're wearing a mask. This is also a way to reduce hay fever. Right now, the pollen in the air, Tokyo is an awful city for hay fever. Many people, including my wife, wears masks and that's right there. That's the first Starbucks in Japan, just so you know. It's kind of, I'm filled with a lot of information that's not really useful. 1998 was when they came in. It's a big deal because, you know, being American, we didn't have a lot of like foreign stuff besides McDonald's and Hard Rock Cafe. This is getting closer to Higashi Ginza, and we'll make a left here. So if you're asking me, I see some of the comments here. Specifically, if you're wondering, like, should I come in May? Should I come in April? I think it's too hard to tell. But if I knew that my parents or my family was coming, I would say, and they haven't booked their ticket yet, I would say, don't book right now. Honestly, because I just don't, because of the things I don't know. If it was maybe my brother and someone younger, I would say it would be okay. But if it was anybody who was a senior citizen or a little bit higher up there in the age, I would say maybe it's not a great idea to book right now and to just play it by ear. If you have diabetes, if you have asthma, if you have any kind of weaknesses, something that could affect you, I would say it's maybe not worth the risk right now. And I'm just being honest with you. But if you booked the trip, I think if you take precautions, you should be fine. Masks, alcohol, 70%, above 60%, but I would say 70% or more. Wash your hands as many times as you can during the day. If you can't have those alcohol wipes, avoid crowded places. So that means maybe visit the countryside, stay away from the Shinkansen, maybe take local trains or rent a car. That's another thing that you can do. I've been renting a car recently. I will rent a car to go to Costco to pick up food for the next couple of weeks. And take a look at Ginza here. This is the neighborhood. Give you a little bit of feeling of what it is like right now in the city. You can bring alcohol with you in your checked-in luggage. It's probably not a bad idea. Something to spray as well. A little spray bottle too with that. Maybe give one if you're coming with a family of 4. Little things like that just to reduce the risk. I don't think that the risk is as high as the media is making it out to be, but I have to stress this. And there's a little shrine on the corner here. The answer is that we just simply right now do not know a lot. And that's the scary thing, and that's something that should concern you and slightly worries me. That's where I am. It's nice walking around the city. You'll find little shrines in corners. Most of them are hundreds of years old, and in Japan they don't move the shrines for buildings. They usually will build the buildings around them because sometimes you have to protect the things that are bigger than yourself, and that's a big part of Japanese culture. If you are going on an airplane, even though they're saying, you know, healthy people don't wear masks, I would wear a mask. All right. Even on an airplane, there's good things with doing that. The recycled air in there, it's just not touching your face. Just it's better to wear a mask on airplanes. I've always done that, and I carry them with me. My wife wears masks on the airplanes. Once you arrive at the airport, I think you're fine. Just try to avoid crowded places. Reduce your risk as much as possible. And there's not any reason to panic or worry about travel in Japan. If you haven't booked, it maybe is a reason to pause and wait a little bit. Oh, this is Motoji. So I filmed here. There's my reflection in there. I filmed here about for an NHK World show a while ago, and they make really good men's kimonos. You can see here. Yeah. They go up to about $10,000-$15,000, even higher than that. The obi, or the sash that goes around here, can be as high as $10,000 to $20,000 just for that, because the silk is high quality. Oh, there's a guy with a kimono right now. That's one of the staff from Motoji. There he goes. Hold on. It's bright. It's working hard. David Kimura, funds to restock your freezer. Thanks, David. And Ellis, treat yourself to a fancy Ginza area snack. I'm gonna bring, there's actually a really good bakery in Mitsukoshi, and I'm gonna go get some stuff for Kanai for us to chomp on tonight. Thanks, guys. I do really appreciate that. I bet Japan will breathe easy once a vaccine is completed. I think everybody will. The canceling of the Tokyo Marathon, and I'm just going to talk about this a little bit longer because I know that not everybody is getting the notifications right away. We have almost 180,000 subscribers on this channel, and for everybody who didn't get the notifications, I want to stay on a little bit longer so that we can have some more interaction. I always think it's better if you can experience these live, because I want you to see and get a feeling and a vibe of what it's like here in the city. And I'm gonna turn back onto the main street in Ginza here. So if you're watching this right now, we're live, and if you're watching this in the playback, definitely leave a comment and share your thoughts. If you are going to share information, which is fine, just make sure it's sourced, because we don't want it's like conspiracy theories and stuff like this. Seriously, there's so much information traveling back and forth. A lot of it is not, just makes people worry more to get eyeballs, and that's not what I want to support. This is the Kit Kat chocolatory shop, so you can get some gourmet Kit Kats in here. One Kit Kat for like $10, I think they had in there. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, you can try it. And that's what they call a Starbucks Reserve. It's kind of a high-class place where you can get like cocktails, coffee cocktails and stuff like that. It's kind of coffee connoisseurs, next level coffee drinkers. For me, I'm okay with that 100 yen coffee from the convenience store. I'm coming back up to Chuo Avenue, which is the main avenue that cuts through Ginza. And then we'll walk onto the other side a little bit, where there's a lot of trendy shops and stores. And the purpose of this is for you to talk about the information going on, happening here in Japan right now, and whether or not you should travel here to Japan. And the best answer is look around and get an idea of what it's like right now. And then this will, my hope, give you really good information. Because if you can see it, that says 1,000 words, they say. That's a moving picture, probably more than that. So every single frame, I think it's 30 frames per second. That's 1,000 words. It's a lot of words. But if you've never been to Ginza, it's a pretty neat area. On the weekends, they close down this street. You see the cars on here? From 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock, they shut it down, and there's tables here, and you can hang out and eat on the street at these really pretty tables with umbrellas. It's nice on the weekends and on holidays. Yeah, let's cross the street here. I'm gonna continue this live stream for another 10 minutes or so. I would say the amount of foot traffic is about 30% less than usual. And I come to this neighborhood a lot. Failed offerings because I'm not able to be here often. Thanks so much, failed offers. I appreciate that. Do you think riding the Shinkansen is still okay if you have no choice? I take that pretty seriously. I think it's fine right now. I would take the same precautions. If you touch anything, the chairs, they do a pretty good job of cleaning it, but just remember that they do it in like 7 minutes or less. They clean that train so fast when it hits Tokyo and goes back. And between the time, these are things you have to think about when you're riding public transportation, especially the Shinkansen. They only clean the trains after it arrives at the terminus and they turn the train around to ride back. So if you're getting off somewhere between, probably nothing has been wiped down. So that's what the alcohol wipes are for. I know in the US we have Purell and stuff like this. Just make sure there's at least 70% alcohol in it, because then it'll do its job. But if you have alcohol wipes, that's what we carry the most in Japan, with pure alcohol, ethanol alcohol in it. Maybe wipe down this seat handles and the table, and the same on an airplane. Might be something that you can do. Wear a mask, and try to sit in areas where there's not a lot of people. Try to ride at times that are not peak times. Don't ride in the morning or in the evening. Try to avoid weekends, things like this. This will help you stay healthy and reduce the risk. It's all about reducing the risk. And don't ride it if you don't have to. But if you said if you have to, then you have to. I don't have any trips planned right now except this weekend, but I'm not going on the main line. I'm going over to Nagano. But work also has to keep going. For me too. Again, 59 people. That's not a lot of people. All right. But we just don't know the impact of... Alright, so this is Prantan. I'm walking right now toward Jirakucho. This little wind tunnel action going on here. I just don't think that there's enough data to cancel your trip. But if you're thinking of booking, it might be prudent to wait a little bit, is what I'm saying. However, with that said, yeah, definitely click the like button, guys, if you like these updates. I don't know if I'm going to do another one for a while. Just depends whether or not you think this is valuable or not. So I'm not gonna. If you do want more updates, hit the like button so I know that this is something that's valuable for you. I think that you're gonna find some incredible travel bargains to Japan in about a week or so. More people are canceling it, and they still have to fill the hotels and stuff. There's a Shinkansen going by right now. So you're gonna find some really incredible bargains. So maybe it's not the best time to book. The cherry blossom season is still gonna be pretty popular, but I don't think there's gonna be as many people as there have been in the past. It's a long train. And that also means that there's gonna be a lot of travel bargains to Japan. See what I'm doing here? I'm taking the long way around to cross the street because I avoid people as much as possible. Just keep a boundary. I think they said it's about 3 meters or so. There comes a train coming into Tokyo right now. Just keep your distance from people as much as possible. I'm riding my bike everywhere. And if you're in Tokyo right now, and I know my buddy Mike is here, you know, he's got to ride the public transportation. He's visiting from the US. I think that you can get anywhere on a bicycle. He's just left his bicycle here. He looks like that looks like Uber Eats. But I get everywhere on a bicycle. I can travel from my house to Ginza in like 10 minutes, Tokyo Station in 10 minutes, Akihabara in 15 minutes. And I'm avoiding the subway right now. And it's a beautiful day you see in Tokyo. I want to note, if you are in Japan right now, there's a cold front coming in. There's a lot of snow that hit Fukuoka, that hit Tottori Prefecture on the Sea of Japan. Super cold weather, so we're going to get that in Tokyo tomorrow. Yeah, so the weather's going to get cold and dry, and that's another reason makes me a little bit more concerned as well. Right now, companies are starting to limit their workers. Workers that can work at home are starting to work at home, which is amazing. Japanese workers typically have to go into the office It's just part of the culture, and they have to stay and drink with the boss until 10 p.m. sometimes. Just, it's not something that I agree with. It's just part of the culture. Is you throw up your hands and say "shogunai," can't be helped. That's kind of changing with this. People are now going home earlier. If they can work from home, they're working from home and remotely. The companies are responsibly trying to reduce the risks as much as possible of getting an entire office infected. Think about that. That would be the worst thing possible for any company. So that's another reason why I think, right now I'm looking back at Ginza. I really don't see a lot of foot traffic out here, which makes me wonder if I'm okay being out here. I think I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I still got to go outside and get exercise and stuff like that. I'm not gonna live my life afraid, but I'm going to take extreme precautions. And I don't need a mask because I'm not in any crowded areas. I'm staying away from people, and I don't have hay fever. Schools, that's a good question. Now, I think some schools are off because of other things, just typical influenza and rubella, which was a massive problem here. So make sure you have your MMR shots, measles, mumps, rubella, things like that. Make sure you take care of all of your vaccines. Kanai and I had an influenza shot in November, so we should still be covered. I'm gonna take you to now the plaza in front of Yurakucho, where you can get a better sense of what the vibe is. And again, more than the words that I say, is what you see in front of you. So match this with all of the data in the news and whatever source that you get your news from. You can make your own impressions. If you want to follow up on this, the Discord server has about 5,000 people, and I believe we have a chat group, or we're making one where you can discuss this. I want a place where you can talk about your upcoming trip and just get an idea of what it's like. A lot of the people on this server live here in Japan, and I'm not available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but the server is. And that's a great place where you can follow up and ask questions to people that are here in Japan. And we have moderators that are making sure someone's getting interviewed. Hey, we're in the interview. We're in the background. To make sure that you're getting as much information as possible from good people. And we have a really great community of people here on Only in Japan. So definitely, I think that's a good place to get some information and get a better feeling. If you're already planning to come here, you have to be concerned. So you definitely want to ask questions every day. The situation is changing. Stay on top of it. But I do not see a reason to panic or cancel a trip. But I do see a reason why maybe you want to hold off booking it. And it's not just because of it's not just because of that. It's also because of the travel deals will probably start to hit soon, and you'll be able to get hotels at half price and things like this. But as I said, it's 59 people out of 130 million. Jonathan Lim writes in, glad we have a live report from the ground. I'm probably still coming in June. Yeah, I don't think there's a reason for you to cancel, honestly. If you understand the risks and how you can prevent getting sick, and I'm not talking just this, but anything, you should be taking that precaution in February. For those that had booked their trip to come in February, you are at risk to get influenza as well, and get other things that were here as well. That has not changed. Okay, I just want to make that clear. If you come to Tokyo in February, one of the most crowded cities in the world, you are at risk of getting, influenza, is just like everybody else. So you should be taking precautions anyway. But with this, it's not. I think this has been a way for people to develop good habits, and probably people are going to get influenza a lot less now too. And that's a good thing. This is really, I'm looking now at big camera in Yurakucho, and I can tell right now that this has a lot less people on a weekday. Yeah, there's a lot less people than usual. Usually, this is one of the big, more popular electronics stores in the city of Tokyo, and there's just not a lot of people walking around here. I don't see too many tourists, but this isn't a touristy place, I guess. I don't know. I live here, so I come here all the time. It's very, very light on people walking around. I think there's a lot of office buildings in this area, so either they're at home now or they're not leaving the office. But usually I'd say there's at least a 30% reduction on street traffic in Ginza. Cal 76, I've seen you on NHK TV shows. Do you still do some shows? I do. I was just in Tokyo Eye a couple months ago, I think. The world's number ones. That was a pretty fun report with the NHK crew. They haven't changed. I've been doing that show for over 10 years now, and they haven't changed much at all. 12 years I've been doing reports. I think I have over 50 reports with them now. And it's nice to see, whenever I do a show, it's nice to see that because they're all really good friends on that show. The producer changes every 3 years, but the directors are the same. Cameraman's the same. Sometimes the guy driving the truck for those TV shows are the same. But we have a really good time when we make those shows, and I'm sure I'll be back on it again. Because I'm so busy making only in Japan, I haven't had a lot of time to do that kind of work. But yeah, when the opportunity comes, it's really nice to be on NHK and just do more with that. It's a family, really. It feels like you're reporting with a family when you're doing a magazine program like Tokyo Eye. Quincy, the mods are doing their job. Anything that is a little bit over the top, I can get in trouble for that. The channel can as well. So yeah, it can be a little sensitive, this topic. So our mods do a really good job, and they do the best with their judgments on a lot of these. And that's the responsible thing. You need good moderators in any live stream. And this is the vibe. I'm gonna take you now to Sukhiya Bashi intersection. Sukhiya Bashi, yes, that's where Sushi Jiro is, the 90-some-year-old sushi chef. That was the documentary. Hey there, birdies. They're doing just fine, no panic there. I'm gonna take you now to that intersection. This is a really nice hotel chain. I always recommend people to stay with them if you're looking for something with an amazing location. It's the Gate Hotel. Wow, and there goes the Shink. Kanai, it's a Shink. Shinkansen, Kanai. Wow, it's hard to see. I didn't see a lot of people riding the Shinkansen. There's the N700 series rolling in from Tokyo. I love the Shinkansen. Seriously, I'm a massive train otaku. It's not just riding it. I just like the looks of it and the feel of it and how fast it gets you from one place to the other. I did a live stream train spotting about 4 days ago. You might want to check it out. It's awesome. I was in the middle of nowhere, and it was the most popular spot for Hollywood movies and international media to get a sense of what Japan is. With Mount Fuji in the background, a secret spot to watch the Shinkansen going by there, and live stream from a field about 4 days ago. Was it? It seems a lot longer. All right. So they are tourists. They all have the same color mask, this kind of green mask. Let's observe their behavior. They're kind of lost. I think they're from Thailand. Okay, so this is a Gate Hotel. They have one in Asakusa. They do a pretty good job, and my friend MJ was staying in there. Not Michael Jackson. Not Michael Jordan. I said MJ. He stayed in here. We had a really nice cup of coffee up here. It's such a convenient location. That's the Tokyo department store, Tokyo Plaza. It's a brand new, opened about 2 years ago. Really nice views from the top there. There's a garden. You can look down on this intersection I'm taking you to right now. But the purpose of this live stream is to answer the question, should you come to Japan? And I think it's a determination that you can make by looking around. And I think travel deals in Japan are going to just pop up in a week or so. So maybe hold off a little bit if you haven't booked already. But I do not see a reason to cancel the trip unless you have a pre-existing medical condition, where then I think you should be more worried than somebody who's in his 20s and 30s looking for a backpacking adventure or something. If you're planning on riding the public transportation a lot and spending most of your time in a city, that's another thing that you should be considering. I would personally not be spending my time so much in the city. In fact, if I had a choice, I would probably fly over to Ogasawara Island or take a boat over there and spend 2 weeks on Ogasawara. I love that island in the Pacific. All right, this is Sukhiya Bashi intersection in Ginza. And you can see here the mood of the people here. Hey, Ouchko, the N700S in a couple of months. You got that right. You got that right. New Shinkansens are coming in. The maglev levitational Shinkansen is going to be starting in a few years. It's a pretty exciting time for train otaku. That's the Nissan building in the distance in Ginza Yonshime, and that's probably where we're gonna end this live stream. But I'm really happy that you could join me live for this. Just get an idea of the sense of Tokyo right now, and put this in with all of the other news sources that you're watching, just so you get a sense of what it's like down here. And I'll keep giving you my opinion and my feelings of what I think is happening in the city. I just feel that after yesterday's announcement with the Tokyo Marathon being canceled for the general 38,000 entrants, and a lot of events around Japan being canceled, C+, a major camera event was canceled. I think that's really good that Japan is taking these precautions. I have not heard that Tokyo Disneyland has closed. I haven't heard that theme parks are closed. Events like concerts have not been suspended. So things going on at the Tokyo Dome are not canceled. But I think it was a very wise decision by the mayor to suspend the Tokyo Marathon for the general run. That's happening on March 1st. And the Emperor's birthday is on the 23rd, and that's been canceled. The event anyways. He's still gonna have his birthday. But the event itself is gonna be canceled. Here's the intersection, a vibe. The vibe. As I said, 30% less foot traffic is my feeling. Shinjuku Gyoen still open. I'm looking at the live chat right now. Down in the basement is where you'll find the sushi shop. Jiro Sushi. I'm not interested in going there. I want to keep this real, guys. Any talk of canceling the Summer Olympics is way too mature, and immature. It's just, we just don't know where this is going yet. We're still here in a wait and see. We don't know how long the incubation period, things like this are. For how long are you not showing symptoms? I know it's longer than influenza. There's a lot of things that we just don't know, and that makes us worry even more. And we're still in a wait and see mentality, but we do know more now than we did 2 weeks ago. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you're thinking of booking a trip, there's no reason not to just hold off now and just wait a little bit. Hey, Tigrahov's here. How was dinner last night? It was really good. Hey, thanks for asking about that. That's right. So last night, so on a positive note, thanks for asking about that. Yeah. So we went out to dinner at my favorite restaurant here in Tokyo, where we had our wedding party, and that was a wonderful, wonderful dinner. It was a great 2 hours that we had there. Thank you so much. My birthday was earlier in the month, but I was traveling in Hokkaido at the time, and we didn't get a chance to go out on a date, and it was good. It was really, really good. This is the Tokyo Marathon sign. I love the logo that they have, the colored circle there. And it's just unfortunate that that's been canceled. The Tokyo Marathon runs through this area too. This is a big area, intersection, usually a lot of people. Again, a reason to cancel the general run is also to keep the crowds down, and that prevents infection, and that's a good thing by the mayor. It must have been a very tough decision to do that. Tokyo Marathon's been canceled for the general registrants, and that means my friend Joseph, who dresses up really funny, Joseph Tame, and live streams the event, won't be able to do it this year. The first year in over 10 years where he's been stopped by this, so. Okay, we're back at Ginza station here. So this should give you a pretty good vibe. Hey, look! It's another stump. You know, I guess I just keep this here as a chair or something. I keep on finding stumps. There's one yesterday. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Stumpified. I know, right? Why are they there? All right, if you have any questions right now for the next couple of minutes, I'm gonna keep this going for an hour. I think it's pretty good for you to come and watch this live and then see for yourself in your own eyes what's the situation like. How are people, are they wearing masks? How are people reacting? It looks like everyday life is just going on to me. What about you? What do you think? Are izakayas safe to be in? 3-2 aliens. Yeah, you know what? I think that izakayas usually are not in open, like an open floor. Usually you have little booths and stuff. Again, you get a shibori, I would wipe down stuff. The counters, I would wipe down counters. If you're going into a hotel, and this is Kimuraya, maybe I'll get kanai a sandwich. I love the shrimp katsu sando here. If you're going into hotels, especially like the appa or places that are frequented by tourists, I would wipe down the counter. I would wipe down all of the areas that with alcohol and spray the hotels. I wouldn't move hotels that much. I think there was somebody who said they're going to be traveling around Japan and moving 13 times to 13 different hotels. This is in the Discord server, and I was scratching my head and say I think probably the better plan would be to have a base where you can have a hotel room and make sure that it's clean. Because every time you check into a new hotel room, I can tell you that the housekeeping staff, I'm somebody who makes tutorial videos for a company on training housekeepers. So having to edit that video of 70 episodes on how to clean toilets and counters and stuff that I filmed and edited about 7 years ago before only in Japan. It was a tough edit too. Housekeepers don't have a lot of time to spend cleaning in the room, and the good ones do a really good job, and then the majority of them are new to the job. The turnover for cleaning hotel rooms is very high. Not a lot of people stay at this job, so they're always getting trained. New workers don't know how to clean rooms effectively. So it's a very good idea for you to disinfect your own room anyways. That's what I do. Yeah. So they're very curious about me. Why is that man holding a stick and talking to a camera? 1,800 people. Yeah. People should use common sense. Exactly. I'm in Tokyo. Where should I get mask and hand sanitizer spray? That's from Leon. Thank you for asking that. Your guess is as good as mine. We tried this morning to go and I started this live stream with this information. I went to Matsumoto Kyoshi, which is a big pharmaceutical. It's a place where you would get drugs, prescription drugs, and masks and toothbrushes and things like this. She went before it opened. There was already a line of people, and there were no masks. And she asked the staff, are there going to be masks tomorrow? And they said probably not. But people are now waiting. The best thing that you can do is go to Matsumoto Kyoshi and other places, drugstores, when they first open. Go there at like 9 in the morning or 30 minutes before they open and try to get a box of them. The best are to get a box of 100 of them. But we have enough for about 3 weeks worth. Don't take more than you need. I know that this is going to sound... Don't take more than you need, because a lot of people need to get just one. And if you're taking like 600 of them, that's not right. So just get what you need. And that's the most responsible thing to do. When it comes to alcohol, you can still get that in most places. You get bottles of it. You can even check Daiso, the 100 yen shop. You can check all the pharmaceutical companies, as well as the shops, as well as the supermarket. Check inside of there. Check convenience stores. I think Mujirushi also has it. There's a lot of people will carry alcohol. I think they might charge more for it, but you can find that more readily. Just make sure it's like the real stuff. I guess you could use vodka. Just make sure it's over 60% alcohol, like Everclear, stuff like that. Maybe, I don't know. The hard booze perhaps might do okay. Amazon is not a good place right now to buy masks. I recommended this a few weeks ago. It's not anymore. Just the price gouging there is awful. I know that there's a lot of people telling me they're getting this at the black market and paying more for it. That if you feel that worried about it and that you have to go and meet somebody on the internet to pick it up at a station and pay 10 times more, that might be, I can't say if that's right or wrong, but to me it feels wrong to have to do that. Just don't take more than you need. Don't take more than you need. Everclear as a disinfectant. I don't know. I'm trying to think outside the box, but I can tell you this. Sometimes in these situations, you have to get a little creative. But when you do so, you have to be backed in science that this will work. All right? I think Everclear is like 75% alcohol. I'm just saying. I thought it was like Bacardi 151. Isn't that 70? Doesn't that mean it's 70% alcohol? I'm just saying. People are afraid to use paper money. I don't know what to say on that one. Right now, only 59 people were infected, and they've been in the hospital. And we don't know who is infected walking around. That's the mysterious thing, and that's the thing that makes people concerned right now. But if you're feeling sick and you don't feel good, there's a helpline, and I'm going to try to put all this information in the description of the video. There's a helpline. Instead of going to the hospital, the Japanese government is saying that you should call that helpline, and they'll get the help and set up for you. I think if you are worried that you might have it, then they want to make sure that you don't infect other people going to the hospital. You know what I mean? I think that's a very responsible thing to do. So call ahead, and I'll get that number and put it in the description. It might take me about 30 minutes. Good questions, everybody. Thanks for that. Tourist areas are not closed, but I can tell you this: foot traffic is way down, 30% less. and Kyoto's traffic is way less than normal. And 80% of the tourists come from 5 countries in the area, most of that from mainland China. And the result of the package tours not coming to Japan means that a lot of the places are not crowded, as well as domestic tourism is way down in places. A lot of hotels are available. I got an amazing deal on a ryokan at Ginza Onsen in Hokkaido in BA off of I think it was hotels.com. Booking.com wanted 14,000 yen. Hotels.com wanted 8,800 yen, which was about almost half the price. So I just booked with them and it was fine. So there's a lot of really good deals coming on the net right now. So again, I'm telling you, if you're thinking of booking a trip to Japan, maybe just hold off a little bit, see where this goes. But more importantly, I bet you some travel deals come up. Just saying. I think these questions are really good. I appreciate it. Shibuya Crossing will be crowded. There's a Shibuya Crossing live cam that you can check out that's always playing. It's available on YouTube. You can see how many people are there. I'm gonna guess that that's also the foot traffic's down 30%. Everyone's wearing masks. I'm looking at people in the cars. All the taxi drivers, except for this one here, are wearing masks. Taxi driver was infected in Japan a while ago, and he didn't go and seek medical attention, and it's been on the news media a lot. So they're saying if you have symptoms and you have been in contact with somebody, yeah, taxi drivers are wearing masks, almost all of them, to go and seek help, and he hadn't done that yet. And I think it was a news reporter that interviewed him and said, are you going to the hospital? And he said he hadn't thought about it. And eventually he did. And they say that he didn't show symptoms for several weeks. No, hold on a second. I want to get this right. I took a screenshot of it from the TV. It was about a month. And now he's getting treatment, so. If you do give information, just make sure it's sourced, everybody. I'm not wearing a mask because I'm not in a crowded area that warrants it. That's still going on. If you're riding the subway, wear a mask. I came by my bicycle. It's my key. It's a Bridgestone. That's why I'm not wearing a mask. You don't, if you're keeping a distance between people, and it's not a problem, no one wants to walk near me anyways, you really don't have a reason to wear a mask. Except unless you have a allergy to pollen, you have a hay fever, then people wear masks. Then those PETA masks are useful. But if those PETA masks are useless to protect you from, where'd my bike go? Is it the next one over? Gotta make sure I didn't lose my bike. Is it safe to travel with a 10-year-old in March? My worry with this, thanks for asking the question. This is Anamika. My worry is that kids tend to touch their face a little bit more, and they can't control themselves. So, I mean, if your son or daughter can not touch their face, his or her face often, and not, touch a lot of objects around the train and stuff in public areas, then I think it's fine. But I don't know. If I don't have a 10-year-old kid, so I just wouldn't have the same confidence. I would say 13 and up. But to have the understanding that you can get infected by touching, and most of the spreading has been either person to person or people touching objects and then touching their face, because it sticks around for a while. Somebody coughs, it gets on something, you touch it, you touch your face, you're infected. 12 days later, you're showing symptoms. So I hope that gives you some understanding of what, if you do decide to bring your family here, that's something that you should consider. Just maybe a few days before you start getting in a routine and talking about it, don't touch your face. Wash your hands and be very paranoid about it. Because I think that in this time, in February, you should be anyways because of influenza. But you should be very paranoid about it. And these are really good habits to have. Being paranoid is a good habit. I don't know if that's true, but I think if you're going to be, I think you should wash your hands in a city setting like this more than we do already. And use the alcohol pumps. Every single department store and shop. Well, they have the new masks with filters on it. One thing to note, not everybody who's speaking Chinese is from China. Okay, just so you know. Taiwan, even people from Singapore speak Chinese. No, Singlish might be the... I don't know, everyone in Singapore speaks better English than people in Japan, that's for sure, so... Yeah, we have a lot of really good fans from Singapore. Just keep that... I know that the one thing that worries me the most is there's this stigma that anybody from... Stigma, this might not be the right word, but a fear of anybody from Asia that coughs now. Do they have it? There's just not a lot of people outside of China with this yet. There are confirmed cases, but I want you to, everybody, to just keep it real and keep your eyes and ears on the news and ask questions. But don't get too much into the news story. News stories too much. Keep it with a grain of salt, because I think the best thing that you can do is to go onto the live cameras and just take a look and see how people are reacting. What is it actually like on the ground here? And that's the best way for you to visualize it. There's going to be some really amazing deals, I think, coming to Japan. People are canceling. I think that's normal. And for those that aren't as high as risk, younger people and people that travel a lot and perhaps take better precautions, are going to find some amazing deals coming here. So I would hold off on travel for a little bit. And we're going to get a lot more news over the next couple of days. I just got a feeling like we're going to see where this goes from this point. And yesterday was a pivotal time for Japan when they canceled the Tokyo Marathon and some really big events. And the general feeling here is we were concerned, and now we're a little bit more worried after Monday. All right, our prayers go out to everybody on that cruise ship. Have a good day. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you do like these updates, give me a thumbs up just so I know that this is very valuable to you. The last one got so much feedback from it. It made me feel like I should use this channel to go live and give you an idea of what it's like, and also to share my feelings on the feeling here, and to answer just, and to keep on that one question: should you come to Japan right now? And if you do, what should you do? And what news is there going on right here that worry us living here in Japan? And that's, for the last hour, what I can report to you. I hope that was useful. And use the comments in the Discord server, and I'll see you guys in another live stream tomorrow on a different topic. Because this is important to Japan, but it's not the only thing going on. This weekend I'll be in Nagano, so. Whoa! Hey, Pat Jabby, thanks for that. You're very welcome. My pleasure. Bye, guys.